Hello and welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie. Ever since the apple fell on Isaac Newton's head that fateful day, scientists have been working hard to understand the mysterious force that is gravity. Lucky for us, they've learned a great deal and the knowledge is out there for all to see. But as with many such concepts, while most people have a grasp on it, rather few understand completely how it works. Let's remedy that. If you want more science videos, check out our Biggest Science Questions playlist on the channel. Now get ready, it's time to ask the question, how does gravity work? Sir Isaac Newton discovered gravity in 1687, when, as legend tells, an apple fell from a tree and struck him in the head. It's likely that events didn't transpire in quite this way, but the story is a good one. Regardless of the particulars of his epiphany, Newton was instrumental in developing our understanding of gravity when he published his book, De Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica. In said book were his theory of calculus, his 3 laws of motion, and of course, his theory of universal gravitation. Since then, scientists have expanded on the theory, and we now have a solid grasp on this seemingly mystical force that keeps things together. In the Newtonian view, gravity is seen as one of the 4 fundamental forces of nature, the other 3 being electromagnetism, the strong force, and the weak force. These forces aren't derived from other things, they simply exist and act of their own accord. However, it should be noted that gravity isn't always seen as a force, as Newton would describe it. According to Einstein's general theory of relativity, gravity is best seen as a consequence of the curvature of space-time, caused by the uneven distribution of mass. This theory has expanded on Newton's, making it more generally applicable. However, for the sake of brevity, this video will focus on the Newtonian view of gravity, as it remains a fairly accurate description and provides a nice groundwork for understanding later theories. We may touch on the theory of relativity as well as other gravitational theories in later videos. So back to Newton's gravity. According to the theory of gravity, all objects with mass are drawn to one another. Objects with greater mass have stronger gravitational pulls. This pull was instrumental in the forming of the many planets, stars, and moons in our universe, and continues to act on and within these celestial bodies. The gravitational pull of our sun keeps the planets in orbit around it, just as the pull of the Earth keeps our moon in orbit. But how do we figure out the amount of gravity in any given case? Well, as with many things, there's an equation for that. Newton's equation for gravity is as follows. The force of gravity, or F, is equal to the product of the masses of the 2 interacting objects divided by the squared distance between the center of these 2 objects times g. G representing the gravitational constant, which is known as the constant of proportionality, or colloquially as the big G. In case you were curious, the gravitational constant is 6.754 times 10 to the negative 11. Essentially what this formula states is that the gravitational force depends on the mass of the objects in question, as well as how far apart they are. The farther apart the objects are, the greater the mass must be in order for gravity to act. When an object begins falling, gravity accelerates it at a rate of 9.8 meters per second, until it reaches terminal velocity. This means that each second the object will speed up by about 9.8 meters per second. This is true of all objects regardless of their mass. This is because while an increase in the object's mass does not increase the gravity that will work on it, it also increases the force necessary for gravity to pull it. For this reason, despite the difference in mass, a basketball and a bowling ball will fall at almost exactly the same rate. What can slow an object down, however, is increased air resistance. A flat piece of paper will fall much slower than one crumpled in a ball. This understanding of gravity is highly useful and predictive in most realms, and is excellent when looking at everyday cases. It allows us to understand that it is the great mass of the Earth that causes us to remain firmly planted on the ground, regardless of what the flat earthers may claim. It lets us predict where an object will fall and how quickly it will do so. Should an apple fall from the sky, we won't curse the heavens for launching a magical, vitamin-filled attack on us. We understand that it was gravity that caused it to occur. And despite Bill O'Reilly's insistence to the contrary, we can in fact explain why the tides go in and out. It's due largely to the gravitational pull of the moon. That said, gravity doesn't work the same way across the Earth. There are certain anomalous regions where gravity acts rather differently. For example, many parts of the Hudson Bay region in my fine country of Canada seem to be missing some of their gravity. This phenomenon was first noticed in the 1960s when the global gravity fields were being charted. There are 2 main theories that contend to explain this. The first is that convection in the Earth's mantle is responsible, since it drags the continental plates downwards, thus decreasing the Earth's mass in the area, which decreases the effects of gravity. The second theory claims that it's due to the Laurentide ice sheet. Before it melted 10,000 years ago, the sheet was particularly thick in this region, meaning the indentation left after the melt was even more significant in this area. This is believed by some to be the cause of the lower gravity. As of now, we're not certain which theory is correct, but such is science. This is but one proof that our understanding of gravity is far from complete. But the beautiful thing about science is that it is open to change and embraces new ideas if they turn out to be correct. Some scientists continue to study gravity, and there have been some interesting discoveries of late that might change our understanding of it significantly. There are a number of different theories that all claim to provide a more complete explanation than those of Newton and Einstein. However, as of yet, none of these claims have been fully supported, so we'll have to wait for further study. Thank you for watching Life's Biggest Questions. I hope this was interesting and informative, and maybe even inspired you to look into it further on your own. If you like this video, please thumbs up and subscribe to the channel down below. While you're down there, let me know what other science questions you may have for us. Until next time, I'm Ron Mackenzie Lafergie with Life's Biggest Questions, wishing you the best of luck on your quest for answers.